Hello and welcome to the Veloworthy podcast. We're so excited to share with you this news that we are now changed to Veloworthy. I'm your host, Brian Coe, formerly SoCal cyclist, and I hope you had a great off-season. And when I say off-season, I mean off-season in terms of listening to the podcast, but of course not an off-season from riding your bike, hopefully. So I wanted to talk to you about a couple things going on, a couple reasons, first of all, for the change. So yes, we are now Veloworthy, and the reason for the change is simply we just wanted to reach more people. We wanted to expand our audience, and we wanted to have more people from around the state, the cities, the country, other countries listen to us. And it's hard for people who don't live in SoCal to identify with a podcast that they can't really relate to. So while we are based in SoCal and I live in SoCal and I ride and train in SoCal and I raise my family in SoCal, the thing is the podcast itself is going to be known as the Veloworthy podcast. So check it out. It's great. Veloworthy.com is the new website. What we're doing is we're asking people how you measure your worth in cycling, and what better way to do that is to come up with the name Veloworthy. And you often do this off the bike, on the bike, while you're riding, when you're getting dropped, when you're winning, when you're looking at all the money you've spent on your bike, the training, the hours, the dark days, the happy days, the joyful days. And all of it is this worth it? And a lot of times, most people come back and say yes. Some people say no and want to sell or ditch their bikes. Some people need a break from the sport, and some people can't get away from the sport. So all of these things are super important. I'm going to try to incorporate some form of introspection when it comes to worth, when it comes to you and the bicycle and the way you ride it and the way you see yourself. So that's what's really important. So hence the new brand Veloworthy. We hope you like it, and I hope you check it out, not only on this podcast, but of course on our new website, veloworthy.com, where we're going to be expanding our platform. So we have new articles to share with you, a bunch of new services we're going to be rolling out and coming up. I am so excited. I can hardly contain it. We not only have that, but yes, for those who've been asking, we do have a Veloworthy kit in the works. It's being finalized as we speak, and I'm so excited to share it with you because not only did we have some great people behind the design, we have great materials, we also have a great company. We're going to reveal that real soon. In fact, we're having a future episode on that, on just sort of the anatomy of the kit, which is great, and I can't wait for you to check out the brand new Veloworthy kits. So today is May 6th. You may be hearing this on May 7th, but it is officially the day after Cinco de Mayo. And this year's Cinco de Mayo is super important because we had the biggest race on dirt and on the road, not only in SoCal, but some say the country. And that, of course, is the Belgian Waffle Ride, which fell on Cinco de Mayo on Sunday. And that was an amazing, epic race. There were thousands of people both spectating as well as riding, and it was the biggest year yet. It's year 8, and according to the founder, creator, madman behind the idea, Michael Marks, it is the biggest event this year. He's saying 80% growth rate compared to last year. 80%. This event sold out after only 3 weeks. Every category was filled. They have the Belgian Waffle Ride, which was 136 miles, over 10,000 feet of climbing. And then they had the Belgian Waffle Ride, which was roughly half the distance, about 64 miles, I think. It included all the dirt, and it included all the tough stuff, Quest Haven, Double Peak, all of that good stuff. And so people were on their road bikes, on their mountain bikes, and of course their gravel bikes and everything in between. So I cannot wait to bring you our season 3 premiere with the Belgian Waffle Ride. Prior to the Belgian Waffle Ride, we caught up with some fantastic people and got some of their pre-race predictions. We talked about some of their routines. Let's go ahead and get it started right off. We talked with BWR veteran and resident tall guy, Ryan Steers of Giant Bicycles, who also works with Floyd's of Leadville, and we also caught up with legend of the sport, Dave Zabriskie.
So last year, we were talking about last year, you said sometimes you eat the waffle or the waffle eats you. This year, what are your words of wisdom?
I'm hoping to eat the waffle this year. I think I've got some more miles under my belt for this season. I just visited Sam and the waffle makers, so I think he's all set. They looked pretty delicious, all the batter's made. So yeah, I'm ready to eat some waffles this year.
All right.
And keep them down.
What's your game plan for tomorrow?
Try not to get dropped on Black Canyon. I think that's every year that aid station going in.
But is everyone going to wait for Black Canyon to go, or just?
Not me.
What are you going to do, Dave?
Pass the mic. I'm attacking right out of bed. I'm going to take a huge dump. Going to lighten the load. Going to get on that start line, shaking, jittering, and then it's go time, baby. I don't even know what Black Canyon is. See you later.
You're not even going to start at the start time, are you?
Straight out the back.
Yeah, you don't even need to wait for the race to start. You'll just start
30 minutes early.
Yeah,
No,
these
that's
days,
awesome.
good bowel movement is sufficient to feeling good the rest of the day.
Yes.
You're hijacking my interview, Dave.
No, dude, we're a team.
That's true. Dave's working for me tomorrow, so I think we got big aspirations.
Is that the plan? You guys are going to actually use team tactics in a gravel race?
It is now, right?
We just carpooled down here and talk tactics.
So are you going to wait for Black Canyon and then go for it?
A little bird just told me that it is a mess and covered in moon dust right now, so apparently they're wetting it down today, but I'm hoping it's super sandy and loose and that everyone's going to be hiking up it because that'll be way more fun. So
Because your strength is
I'm a good hiker.
on the dirt.
Yeah,
and
on
hiking.
the dirt and hiking. I've got long legs, so I can jog. I can carry a bike if there's barriers, fences. I've got that nailed down.
Okay.
So
yeah,
I'm hoping the gate's closed at the top because I got an advantage there.
Or if you get to the top, you can just close it behind you.
Yes.
As you leave.
Exactly.
All right.
That's the plan.
Let's talk predictions about tomorrow. Who's going to take it for men's and women's?
Women's, let's see. I think Amanda's hungry again.
Amanda Panda.
Yeah, Amanda Panda. I'm gonna go. She's a perennial favorite. Perennial? Yeah, that would be fun. And then men's-wise, I don't know. I'm interested to see what Stetna will do, or teammate Josh Berry. I want to see him win it again. I really want to see.
He flatted one year.
He did, and he was first a couple years ago. The year I was third, he was first, and yeah, I'd like to see Josh win it. I think that'd be really cool. Get Giant on the podium.
All right, Dave, what about you?
Just first of all, I'd like to point out that Ryan did not name me in contention as a favorite, which is heartbreaking.
Shame on.
Considering I just bought burritos for everyone.
Spoiler alert, he said he's not going to finish, so.
That is the dynamic duo of Ryan Steers and Dave Zabriskie. They are an hilarious duo. I need to do a sit-down interview with just the two of them, or maybe even just Dave for an hour, see what's going on in his head. Ryan Steers, he ended up finishing with a time of 7 hours and 25 minutes. That is moving. That is super fast in 69th place. 69th place. Congrats, Ryan. That is an amazing feat by Ryan Steers. He is somebody who's always dangerous, and he's a tough person to come around. So congrats, Ryan. Next up, we have the person known as Vegan Cyclist. Tyler Pierce is his official name, but everybody knows him as Vegan Cyclist on YouTube. He does these videos. We've interviewed him on year 2016 on the podcast, and it was a great interview, but he's doubled, almost tripled his growth on YouTube since then, and he's a certifiable star. We've talked a couple of times at BWR, and people are just coming up to him, taking pictures, wanting to talk to him. He's definitely a cycling celebrity within the sport. So we caught up with AKA Vegan Cyclist.
Welcome to SoCal.
Thank you. Are you the king of SoCal?
No, I'm the redheaded stepchild of SoCal. Are you? So how are you feeling for tomorrow?
I'm feeling like $1 million, man. I had my training program. I had a lot of big racing going on. I had a big stage race, and so I really had a ton of volume. But then now I sort of had a few weeks where there wasn't volume. So the fatigue is low, the fitness is high, the motivation is there to suffer. Dude, I'm ready.
So what's your strategy when you're going to be on the bike for hours and hours and hours? Are you going to go out guns blazing at the start? Or are you going to kind of pace yourself? What's the plan?
That's the hard part, right? So obviously at 130 miles, you can't burn all your matches in the first 10 minutes, right? You're going to have to pace it a little bit, but you got to make that front group, or it's going to, I feel like you're going to have to suffer really deep early on, and then, have your body recover, get the calories in after that, because, if you try to take it easy, you're just going to miss the efficiency of being with a bigger group. So I did the climb to Kaiser, which is 155 miles, 16,000 feet of climbing, and is a lot of climbing. And I just stared at the power meter and never did more than 300 watts. It was 250 to 300 watts. And I just never burned any matches. But I feel like with the talent here, you're going to have to.
So are you going to burn some matches to stay as close as you can to the very, very top guys, or are you going to just sort of find your people and then stay with them?
No, man. I want to get some good footage of some pros as long as I can, and then I'll just edit it like I was with them the whole time. So I got to get in with them early on, get that GoPro footage, and then maybe I'll take a shortcut and call it early.
All right, good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much, man.
The morning of BWR, people are nervous. They're antsy. The line to the bathroom is super long. People are lining up to get waffles. It's cold. People are getting caffeine. A lot of people are massaging themselves, shaking, jumping up and down. It's game time. It's on. We caught up with some great people from the start line, including the official voice of BWR, Jim Miller, the race announcer. We're sitting in the literal start finish. And what are your thoughts going on for the events of the day today?
Brian, I think the thoughts are the fact that this ride has grown to be something so impactful and so powerful. We've got over 1,700 riders going to tackle both of these courses today. We've created this beautiful community and wonderful tribe mentality that draws people from over 35 states, 4 different countries to come and participate in this event. And we just can't wait to let them experience everything that's out there on the road, and then certainly the big party and festival that's going to go on here at Lost Abbey when they get back.
So I guess the question is, how do you top an event that's already big? How do you make it bigger and not necessarily longer, but just more epic than in years past? That seems to have been done, but what about for next year and the year after? I mean, is BWR becoming not just a single event, but a multi? Where do you think the future is for this race?
Buddy, if Michael has it his way, that's exactly what we'll start to see is BWRs or versions like them popping up all over the country. This event is able to stay fresh because of Michael's constant innovation, re-engineering the course, bringing new features in and out of it. This year with an expanded expo area and having Canyon Bicycles on part with us as our title sponsor, it adds such a higher level of credibility to the event, and that's, I think, why we're able to draw not only the caliber of racers. We got racers on the World Tour this year, Brian. Peter Stettner from Trek Segafredo's here. We got domestic pro riders all over the field. This event is important, and I think we're going to see maybe more of that in the future in terms of a higher level of pro caliber riders joining us.
So that kind of leads us into the next thing. We do this every year. Let's talk about predictions. Give me your pick for men's and women's waffle winners.
Like any good race, it comes down to luck. So much of this is luck. All these guys have the talent. You cannot not think about last year's winner, Brian McCulloch. Ted King, no doubt, a major feature last year, missing the win by a bike throw. But I'm sorry, Peter Stettner was in the break last week in Liège in what he called the pissing down rain in 40 degrees. So, and he's here on a good block of training, gearing up for Tour of California. So
yeah, he's just training through this ride, right?
Yeah, just a little training ride. Him and Jake Wells. It's a long, little training ride. So, man, you could throw a blanket over probably 9 or 10 guys, and we wouldn't be surprised to see any one of them coming across the line first. On the men's side, on the women's side, I've always had a thing for Amanda Naumann. I think she's going to do a fantastic job. Athena is certainly somebody we're not going to disregard as a feature of the women's race. When you got one name, you go by one name, you're going to be featured.
Like
and then I think Allison Tetrick, of course, is poised. We've got a couple of the DNA riders here as well that I met yesterday that are, I think, intending to play a major role in the outcome of the women's race.
All right, you heard it first. Jim Miller, MC of BWR. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Brian. Have fun today.
Literally on the start line, things got a bit chaotic, but I was able to run around, talk to some of the pre-race favorites, and get some quotes right before the gun.
Justin, thanks so much for coming out. It's kind of a homecoming for you, this race.
No, yeah, most definitely. Just got back from Europe last night, and I don't know, pumped to be out here racing on my home roads.
So you went from Caja Rural, now you're with Hincapie.
Yep, Arapahoe Hincapie.
Arapahoe Hincapie, sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
And how does it feel to line up with a dude in his mid-50s who works 60 hours a week in IT? Are you just stoked to crush him?
I don't know. Those guys are pretty good, especially here in SoCal. I think the level of like racers is really, really high. Anytime there's a few guys in a finish line, it's going to be hard.
All right, so we were just talking a second ago. These roads, you know every inch of it. You've trained, you grew up on these roads. How's that going to work into your strategy?
Definitely, I think I'll be able to pick some good lines on all the dirt sections. Like there's some sections there around Lake Hodges that are like really rocky, and I think by choosing the right line there, you can save so much energy, and then also not get a flat or mechanical. That's like the biggest thing, I think.
True. So is your plan today to kind of just watch and hold on, or do you plan on making people hurt?
We'll see how the day goes on. Like I got off a plane less than like 12 hours ago, so I think we're gonna play it by feel, and when I feel good, I'll probably hit it.
So is your fitness there?
I think so. I might be tired, but I just finished some big races in Europe, so I think the fitness is there.
Okay, so you have the European legs under you. What's your goal today? Top 10, top 3, the W.
The W. It's always the win. That's always the goal, but we'll see how it plays out. I'm just happy to be here, racing my bike.
Awesome.
Home roads.
And then let's talk about your setup for today. What are you riding on today?
So this is my team bike, BMC Team Machine. Some clinchers are 25 Michelins. I've been training on these all winter here on the same roads and have had no problems. I think the biggest deal is like picking the right line and yeah, really happy with this setup and looking forward to it. Hey, dude.
Yeah. Awesome. Good luck.
Thank you.
If you recognize the voice, that was Justin Oyen, who's also been on the podcast, rode in Europe for Caja Rural, now rides on Pro Continental status for Arapahoe Hincapie. It was coincidentally his birthday on Cinco de Mayo, so happy belated birthday, Justin. Next up, we talked to a pre-race favorite, Ted King.
But it's
Awesome.
always good to catch up with you.
Thank you. We're here with Ted King. Ted, you got second last year, and there's only one place to go after second last year. Let's talk about how you're feeling for this year's race, and how are the legs and the head and all that.
I'm very happy to be here. It's anybody's guess, to be honest, because I'm coming from Vermont. I've totally changed up my routine. I've done far fewer events this year, but they've overall gone quite well. I'm riding considerably less, so the volume could turn to be difficult. I learned today, or not learned, I had the realization today that this will probably be my longest ride of the year. And safe to say this is the most competitive field we've seen. So,
Yeah.
no, all said and done, I'm ecstatic to be here. We have a stacked field. We're going to have a fun day, and all things good.
So what's your strategy for today? Or do you have a strategy, or are you just going to hammer and hold
We're just
on?
gonna ride bikes for a handful of hours. You know, I mean, you got to play to your strengths. So I have some dexterity in the gnarly sections. Given that it's the exact same course as last year, I have a little bit of local intel and know-how. I mean, more so than folks who are coming in for the first time. But you know, you look at World Tour fitness. That is going to be something that you just cannot compete with. From a fitness standpoint. So Pete, I got to catch up with him yesterday. Pete Stetna is flying. He's coming from Liège. He's going to Tour California. He's got a massive spring and early summer planned.
So maybe he'll just go easy today.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And furthermore, he's been here long enough that he has done recon. So there goes my secret card. You know, but then there are so many people here who are gung-ho and ready to go. Brian is ready to rip again.
Do you think people are gonna kind of
walk
mark
this way.
you and look at you and just?
Well, no, that's what's really interesting. Coming from going to DK last year, I'm gonna
Right.
grab my bike right here. coming from DK last year, that was the most stacked field, and it actually slowed the race down. So by the same token, who's to say what happens this year? When I say it slowed it down, it's because everybody is looking at everybody else. No one wants to play that first card. No one wants to go on the attack. So we will see in about an hour how the race is going to unfold. But, you know, all the firepower here could actually make it a more of a poker game. Everybody's looking at each other.
Last question. Are you going to be disappointed if you don't win?
No, that's what's sweet about gravel. Obviously, I want to do well. I mean, it's cool. There's a prize list here. Sure, I want to walk away with a fat check, but everybody's here having a good time. We're at the Lost Abbey Brewery. I love beer. I'm here for my my recovery beverage. I'm here to catch up with a whole lot of friends. I got a project going on in Northern California after this, so this all works out really, really well.
Awesome. Well, good luck today, and we will talk to you after the race and see how it unfolded.
Perfect. Thank you, Brian.
All right,
have a good one,
thanks,
man.
We're with Jake Wells. Jake, you're back for a second year. What have you learned last year that you're going to apply for today?
Oh man, a little bit wider tire than last year.
Oh, so okay.
Yeah, so going a little bit wider. I went with a 28 last year. This year I'm going with a 30 millimeter with a little bit of file tread. And then just taking it easy, you know.
You're going to take it easy today?
Well, I don't know about take it easy. That might, but settle in. You know, I think last year I tried to hang on a little bit too long, going up Black Canyon. I paid for it at the end, so just meter that section out a little bit more. I know it's going to be a fast race today, and a lot of firepower at the front. So, you know, I've got big goals in a couple weeks. I'm doing the DKXL, so today's I would say more of a training day than a race day. But you know, just taking advantage of the opportunity here. It's beautiful weather and great course. So,
well. Let me share with you what my 5-year-old shared with me this morning, and that is, get ready to bleed. That's kind of dark for a 5-year-old.
Yeah, really. Yeah, what are you teaching that kid?
I think she heard it on the playground and has been repeating it, so we need to find that other kid's parents.
Right, yeah.
Next up, wearing number 1, last year's winner of BWR and former podcast guest, Brian McCullough.
All eyes are on you this year.
No, they're not.
Yes,
no, they're not.
You're
no,
up here.
Not. You're crazy. You're crazy. I'm here because Monster Energy likes me, and so does Michael Marks. That's why I'm here.
And you won it last year.
That too. I did win it, yes. Yes, I did.
Are you going to try and repeat?
Oh, that goes without saying. That's the only reason I'm here.
Okay. So what's sort of the rundown? Like, how's it going to play out for you today?
This year, this race just blows up and keeps getting bigger every year, B. And so I would just say that we have to. It's so wide open. It's such a wide open race, which is great for the fans. It's a bit nerve-wracking for me. I mean, usually I spend the majority of my years at Domestique working for the boys, and so this is like I don't usually play this role of having this kind of pressure.
Right.
So I don't know really. I mean, I want to smash it, but you know, there's no smashing when you have like World Tour guys here.
I mean, are you going to play it out differently because people are going to be watching you?
I think that truthfully, like, we see how it goes at the end. If it's a race of attrition, I think it will be very good. But if it's not a race of attrition, if it's just all on horsepower, I got to figure that out.
All right. Good luck today.
Thank you guys so much.
We finally catch up with Peter Stetina of Trek Segafredo and hear his thoughts.
Morning, Peter. Welcome to BWR. How are the legs feeling for today?
Pretty good. It's pro races don't start at 7 a.m. though, so a little worried with trying to, go to the bathroom and all that.
So everyone's talking about you. People are talking about you. You're the only World Tour rider at this race. Tell me sort of the way you want it to play out today.
I mean, I want it to be a hard day and a test of endurance, obviously. Like I'm used to racing over 200 kilometers. And then it's about enjoying it though, and I hope these guys don't just, attack me when I take a pee or something. Like let's make it a proper hard group ride, becoming a race, and just have fun out there, and it's great. I'm just excited to be in a fun, fresh environment. Kind of reminds you of your grassroots racing days, and I've had so much fun this weekend already. So I hope I don't have a sour ending. I just want to have an enjoyable time out there.
All right, well, good luck.
Thanks, dude.
Next, we caught up with the women, who also started with the men And we're competing not just for the same, but for this year, more prize money than the men. We started off with Allison Tetrick.
How are you, Allison?
Is it too early to need a drink?
No, never. I mean, we're literally at a brewery right now.
I know. I'm feeling like I need a beer to handle the nerves and all the angst out here.
So last year, you know, you had some bad luck with the crash. This year, tell me about how you want it to play out.
You know, this is always an exciting event because the distance, the adventure, and everything the course throws at you. So, of course, anything can happen. I'm just excited to go test my legs and go as hard as I can. And ultimately, always my priority is to be safe.
Larissa's not here. Does that make it more wide open for you?
I think it does open up the field some. However, the depth of the women's field is huge this year, probably the biggest we've ever seen. So really excited to toe the line with a lot of legendary athletes and everyone that's out here to enjoy the day.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Morning, Nikki. How are you?
Great. How are you?
I'm all right. So tell me about how it's going to play out for you today.
Well, it's going to be a game of nutrition for me. Nutrition and mental. So I'm going to go out, settle in the first 2 hours, make the selection, and then just be smart, have fun, and race my heart out.
Awesome. Did you get enough waffles?
I had a bagel sandwich. Waffles and ice cream after.
Awesome. Awesome. Good luck today.
Thank you.
If you were listening closely, you might have been able to catch the mariachi band music in the background. That was a live mariachi band that was playing at the start of the BWR. This is, keep in mind, at 7 a.m., but people were up and antsy and ready to party. So they started off with a few wise words from Michael Marks, basically saying, hey, get out there, treat each other with respect. There's lots of people out on course, but give them a high five, give them a push, because in the end, we're all just one big happy community of cyclists. The second thing, a nice electric guitar version of the Star Spangled Banner to start off the day. And then, of course, the riders rolled out. As the race unfolded for the waffle racers, there were a ton more wafer racers who were doing the course as well. A huge contingent of support crew, photographers, course marshals, and police trying to keep everything into basically a rolling caravan. While things heated up immediately from the start and riders were completely going for it, it wasn't until they hit Black Canyon that things really broke apart. There was a lead group, and then, of course, the chase group, and then remnants of that chase group to form other small groups. By the end of Black Canyon, there was no longer one big pack. It had whittled down to small little groups, no more than about 10. In the first lead group, though, by the time the race had really unfolded and it hit Quest Haven into Double Peak, the race had come down to just 3 people. Ted King, Peter Stetina, and a big surprise from Eddie Anderson, who rides for the Axion Hagens Bermans team. He's only 21 years old, but by the time he was able to get to the upper portion of Double Peak, he turned it on and was able to drop Ted King, but not quite get to Peter Stetina. Peter Stetina rode away and stayed away at that point and won in incredible style, beating the old course record by 20 minutes, and it was an amazing finish. We caught up with all of the action at the finish for the men's and women's winners, plus everybody else. And let's go ahead and get to those right now. Let's start us off with the winner of BWR, Peter Stetina.
Being with like 2 hours to go, so I thought my race was over, but I was luckily able to get a couple electrolyte bottles and mitigate that, and caught that young action kid, and was able to put the screws to him with my my vet power in the end. And I don't know if I want to do this race again, man. That was too hard. It was filthy. Yeah.
How does it compare to what you normally do? You know,
oh, it's so different. You know, it's just a small group and you're just on it all day. It's more similar to like a breakaway in one of those, but then you also have to race the final, like if the break actually succeeded, which a break never succeeds in a 240K race, you know. It was full on. It was a hard day, and with the heat too. I mean, there was cramps and all that, but the support was great. The roads and the road closures. You know, I was always able to get a bottle or a gel from the lead motos and stuff, and you know, it was. I stayed real lucky. Trek, they actually gave me the right call for the equipment. It was almost a full road rig with pretty high pressure, and I was definitely on the back foot in some of the dirt sectors, but on the road it made a big difference. And that was kind of the beautiful thing about this course is everyone was on something different, and there was at one point in the day everyone had an advantage and everyone was on the back foot, you know. So it really is like a game of choose your weapon. So
at what point did you knew you had to win? Like,
I didn't, you know. I know the action guy. Thanks, dude. The action guy, he had a big lead coming out of the Lemon Twistenberg at the end, and then Ted and I barely caught him on the road, and I thought he was just going to put the screws to us again, but actually I took him on the double peak climb, but he's a real good dirt rider, so he came back, and then he started sitting on, and I was worried that it was going to come down to a sprint, but I hit him really hard on that last roller on La Maria Road, or whatever that last roller is, with like 3-4 miles to go, and he had no response, and then I just knew I had to start time trialing, and he was worse off than I was, but I didn't know I had it until the last 10 minutes.
And then how does this sort of accomplishment stack up with all your others? Like, where do you sort of put it in the grand scheme of your career?
It's up there, you know. I don't win much. I'm usually doing the Mountain Domestique for guys like Bauke Mollema or Richie Port, so it's rare that I race at the front. But this year, Trek is kind of having a foray into the adventure gravel world, and I'm kind of, you know, able to spearhead that for them. And I'm, you know, I want to show that this is something that I know it's legit. You guys know it's legit. Like, this is a proper race. And there's a lot of press. It's very professional. The organization is great, and I hope this shows that, you know, it's not just a little fringe sport anymore, man. This is full on brawling.
And so, are you going to come back next year and defend your victory?
I don't want to talk about next year yet, man, at all.
Awesome.
Peter finished with the time of 6 hours and 20 minutes. He was absolutely moving through that course. 6 hours, 20 minutes, 37 seconds to be exact, and completely smashed the course. That just shows you the kind of world tour numbers that's needed to stay competitive. Next up, we caught with the second place rider, and kind of unknown, but not after today. His name is Eddie Anderson of the Hagens Berman Action Team, and he's only 21 years old, but he is definitely a rider for the future.
Eddie with Hagens Berman, you're sort of the dark horse that came through. You got second today behind a World Tour rider, Peter Stetina, and you put the hurt on everybody else. How did you do it?
I don't know. I think the whole day was really just a war of attrition, staying upright, and trying to avoid punctures. But at the last major climb, the double peak climb, it was me, Ted, and Pete.
Were you all together at that?
All together at the bottom, and then Pete gapped me by maybe 15, 20 seconds at the top. Caught him on the descent, but I really had nothing left in the legs, and he attacked me with maybe 5K to go, and I just couldn't respond. But all in all, amazing event. I really hope I'm back in the future because this is awesome.
How does this event stack up compared to the other normal road racing events that you do throughout the year?
I don't know.
I mean, is it harder?
It's very different. I think it's more of a long, really steady kind of grind compared to maybe the sharper efforts of road racing. But regardless, just as enjoyable, and that obviously no complaints about the atmosphere of this event. It's unreal. So yeah.
And then at what point did you knew you had the podium locked up for sure? Like, did you always know that even before Crest Haven and Double Peak, or was it still kind of up in the air?
When we were on, I don't know, is it Twistenberg Lemon Squeeze? Yeah, whatever. That last trail section, I think it was 4 of us, and then after we got off the trail it was 3. So from maybe 30 miles to go, I don't know. Yeah.
So you didn't do any attacking. You were just holding that pace, making it steady, and then it was just you guys, just the 2 of you. Or 3 of us.
3 of us. Yeah.
Just like the dirt, the mud. Awesome. Well, congrats on second place.
Thank you.
Hopefully next year you can one up it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And third place went to none other than Ted King.
Ted King,
Brian Coe.
Third place, but everybody smashed last year's course by like 20 minutes. So in a way, it's a successful defeat, a successful victory. How are you looking at things?
Well, I'd like to point out, I think this morning I called Pete for the win.
You did.
So I'd like to congratulate myself for that. I'm very pleased with how the race went. Yeah, I mean, I've been asked what's the difference between last year and this year. Course was identical. Horsepower. There's so much horsepower out there. It was an honor to ride with those dudes. It's a testament to how busy gravel is and how fast and competitive gravel is. I mean, you got World Tour Fitness up there. You got Josh Berry. I mean, come on.
Yes.
Fastest, most handsome man around. Apologies. What is the name of the gentleman who got second on Action?
Ed. Something. I'll edit that out.
Is strong as an ox. So yeah, I mean, basically, you know, as is often the case here, it's a race of attrition. So gravel is the great equalizer. It's going to take some people out. It's going to work to some people's advantage. So yeah, just ever diminishing group. 5 of us going into Lemon Twistenberg on the way back. I think there was a crash. I think there was a flat tire.
You didn't have a mechanical, did you?
No mechanicals. Okay. Although, I mean, that's no excuse because Ed had a mechanical.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, just very pleased with how the day went.
At what point did you know you were for sure podium?
When I crossed the line.
Oh, yeah. So you had really no idea.
No. Yeah, you're not getting any time checks. So that's a tough pill to swallow going up to what do you call it, Double Peak. I mean, you know, those 2 guys, Ed and Pete, they're on another level of strength. So they dropped me pretty quick there, and then it's like, all right, let's just ride the hardest tempo that I can.
How does this version compared to the other versions of BWR compare?
That's what's fun. Is
this one's more fun?
No. Every year is a little bit different. You know, it's 2 years ago, just baking hot.
Oh yeah.
Last year was decently hot. I mean, they say today is cool. I'm from Vermont. This is hot. Yeah, biggest difference again, horsepower, the strength of the field, which keeps it dynamic and fun. And
well, 136 miles later, you're standing, no mechanicals, people are coming in, you have an ice cold beer in your hand, your day's about to feel a whole lot better.
Great success. Got my skin and bones intact. I had a blast. Got a beer in hand. Got a couple hundred people around us, probably a few thousand in the next few hours. So great day, great day.
Former winner of BWR, Joshua Berry, crossed the finish line in 9th place with a time of 6 hours and 42 minutes. We caught up with him.
17th, and then I was like 12th, so I don't know.
Were you able to sort of count the guys ahead of you and just
I didn't
do
know
the
a,
mental math?
I didn't know a good number. I think top 15 for sure, but I don't know.
How did things unfold for you out there? Did it go sort of the way you had planned out, or were you just trying to hang on at certain points?
Yeah, it absolutely did not go as planned. I really made an effort early on in the race to be at the front. We had this U-turn, and I was on the wrong side for the U-turn, so it was at least 50 people back, and entering the dirt, there were people already going up the climb, and I had to wait, and I was going to try and go across on the road, but nobody could ride with me. So I waited till the dirt, and I went full gas through both of those dirt sections around Lake Hodges. And I caught him by the end of it. I knew I needed to catch him by the time we did the big climb. And I was pretty comfortable there, but when we hit the next dirt climb, I just had no power. And I was in good position, smart, but I didn't have the power to stay with the big boys. I've had some issues lately, so it's good to get out here. And then I stayed committed to the effort, and I was probably 30th and ended up hopefully top 10, top 15 for sure.
Any mechanicals, crashes, anything like that for you?
There was a crash a little early on when I was chasing the front group. There were some cones like pretty close, and I was just going too fast and wrecked into one of those. But it was like the plastic stake in the corner. It's like ski racing. It was like a gate, and I nailed that thing. But my bike was great. Tires are good. Everything else is good, so it worked out.
Great. Are you going to come back and do it next year?
Man, I'm hooked. This is one of the best events of the year by far, so I'll be back.
Local pro and new to the Wildlife Generation Pro team is Quentin Kirby. We talked to him.
Quinn, I think you didn't come in first, but you're kind of the first local. Can we say that?
Yeah, I don't know who's in front of me, but I'm definitely a local, that's for sure.
I'd say you and Justin are the two like locals.
Yeah,
like, local pros.
Yeah, Justin, he was in that early break, but he flatted. Out of the race. Yeah, so that's why I was like, I kind of waited with him a little bit.
So how did it?
Peace out.
Did it just unfold? Like, how did it unfold out there in terms of you're talking about Black Canyon earlier?
Yeah, basically just Justin and another rider, I don't remember who, attacked off the front. I think they had 2 minutes going into it. And then Stetna and Hoggins Werman kid. Stetna was actually off the front a little bit, but Hoggins Werman kid just railed it. And not attacked, he just rode hard.
Okay.
Rode fast, and kind of guys just got spit out the back, myself included. So, wish I had a couple more weeks of training in my belt, but it was all good.
No crashes, mechanicals, anything out of the ordinary for you?
No, I stayed upright today. I'm on the new Specialized Roubaix, so lucky enough to be on that, and it kept me safe and riding nice and comfy all day.
Nice. Congrats. I mean, we don't know your finishing order, but I know you're up there ahead of the majority of the thousands of people that are here today.
Yeah, this is a great race for us. We love it. Especially for me, it's great training. So,
what's next in the future for you for your race schedule?
In a couple weeks here, I go over to China, tour Taiwan. I think it's a 6 or 7 day race over there, and then we do another 1 or 2 or 3 single day UCI race over there, and then from there, kind of pro nationals, little NRC stuff, and then probably back over to Asia a little bit, and then tour Utah.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks.
Alrighty. Thank you. Thanks, man.
For the women's race, we have a brand new winner for 2019. Her name is Sarah Sturm, and she's a professional cyclocross rider. She's best known at this point for only having BWRB her second event. She actually did Sea Otter both the mountain bike race and the road race on a single gravel bike. How's that for diversity? We caught up with her at the finish.
Order. Who am I? I'm Sarah. I live in Durango, Colorado, and I race cyclocross.
To come in here and just snatch the win from the regular favorites. Were you on anybody's radar? Like,
I don't think so. This keeps happening to me. No one knows who I am.
It's not going to be that way after.
Yeah, you know what? I've never ridden this far, so I had no idea how I was going to do. And I think maybe that played to my advantage because no one else did either. So I don't know. I don't even know where I got it. This is not a great podcast interview because I don't know anything that happened out there. All I know is I knew I was undertrained for this event just because I didn't know I was racing it until like a week and a half ago. And it's been really snowy in Durango, so I was like, I just wanted to finish. And then I kind of changed my mentality like yesterday, and I was like, I'm just gonna go hard and just see how long I can do it. I ate a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
During the race?
Yeah, I cut these up and I put potato chips in them.
So at what point did you know you had the win locked up?
I don't think I ever knew.
I don't think anybody has come in yet, and you've already...
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought they were hot on my tail, literally until just now. Yeah, no, I had no idea. It's really hard to know where anyone is. So I just had this idea that they were 5 minutes behind me the whole time. So I just went really hard the whole time. That's all I did. I know I can, cyclocross, you just suffer so hard. So I was like, this is just 7 cyclocross races in a row.
Yeah, back to back.
I think this is second.
This is going to be our second place.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't have anything to worry about, I guess.
Well, congratulations. Our gravel ride's the future for you. What? I know you do cross, but it looks like you can do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, well, I actually, I race for Specialized for cyclocross, and they recently kind of changed our cross team into a gravel team, so I'll definitely be at more gravel events this summer. Yeah.
Awesome. Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That was Sarah Sturm. She finished the ride in 61st place overall with a time of 7 hours and 23 minutes, but was of course the first woman to cross the line, and she beat the majority of just people out there. So if you finished ahead of her, congrats. If you finished even near her, congratulations. Yeah, she is definitely a rider to watch for the future. We also caught up with some of the favorites such as Allison Tetrick and Amanda Nauman.
Allison, you're a little bit dirty and a lot beat up, but you finished. How are you? You okay?
Definitely had better days, but I don't really like to quit. So at one point, you just gotta go in a little survival mode and join the party bus. And I'm looking at some blood and torn stuff and a couple elbows. But I think you just gotta do it for the gram, right?
Oh yeah, you gotta do it for the gram.
I mean, the pictures are gonna be amazing.
So how did the crash happen?
Just into that big sand pit there with a pretty large group, probably about 30 miles in, and then there might have been another crash down that descent in sand. It was very sandy. It was very sandy conditions, which I might not excel at, but that's okay. I just feel like I rode on the beach all day, which is great, right? It was a perfect beach vacation.
Oh yeah, exactly.
If I was signing up for my dream date, I'm pretty sure it would have been the Belgian Waffle Ride.
Exactly. You also crashed last year, yes?
Yeah. So I'm batting pretty high.
Pretty good.
I'm about 3 for 3 at the Belgian Waffle Ride, but it's always a fun adventure and a great community, well supported, and it's a big day on a bike, so that's why I come out. So
awesome. What are your future plans in terms of gravel events and other rides?
I'm headed to Dirty Kansas here in just a short 28 days, but who's counting?
Yeah.
So yeah, Kansas next, and then there's some fun events going on. I'm headed to a stage race in Oregon. I'm going to Iceland. So yeah.
Full plate.
Yeah, full plate because the bike can take you everywhere. So
exactly.
Pretty darn lucky.
Awesome. Well, grab a seat, relax, get some ice and a beer.
I will do. Thank you so much.
In the beginning I knew I was leading, I'm pretty sure, just because that first dirt section was so hectic and I kind of dismounted into it, so I cut the bottleneck off. So I got into the dirt really quickly and came out of it and thought pretty sure that I was leading as we took the road, the road climb and then into Ravana or whatever that city is out there, Ramona something. And then Black Canyon, just like I didn't blow up. I just wasn't climbing as fast as those other girls. It was crazy. Like I felt amazing today. Everybody else was just on another level. But yeah.
The person who won is a pro cyclocrosser like you. Her name is. So, by the time you hit Quest Haven into Double Peak, were you just in suffer mode, or were you still pretty good at that point?
I still felt pretty good. The dirt. The nice thing about Hodges and Lemon Twistenberg coming back is that it makes you forget about how much it sucks for a while, because like the dirt's actually fun. And then once you get back on the highway, then you're like, okay, I got like an hour and 15 minutes left to go, and it's not that bad. But so yeah, the way that the course is set up, the dirt's kind of distracting. Right. So it's nice. But yeah, I was in about 10th and then, or 11th maybe, and I passed some girl on Double Peak. Okay. So I maybe ended up 10th, I'm guessing.
Okay. And then how many BWRs is this for you?
I don't know. I was thinking about that last night. I got to count. It's like 5 or 6.
And how does this one stack up compared to your other ones?
It was fast. I mean, I feel like they get faster every year, and I don't know why I expect anything differently than blowing up on Black Canyon, but it always happens. I just can't climb as fast as those girls, but it's okay. I wish there was more dirt, but it was still fun.
Awesome. Well, congrats.
Thanks, Brian.
All right, here we are, Tyler. 136 miles and about 12,000 feet later. It's your first event. How did it go for you?
Man, that has to be the hardest race in North America, given all aspects, right? Mm-hmm. Like, other than the weather, like if the weather was bad, maybe it would be a little harder, but like, you can be a good climber, but then if you're not a good descender in the gravel, and like the bike makes a difference, and the length, and dude, there's just so much that goes into being able to do well here. It's insane. It's great. Like, sometimes when you're in a road race, it gets a little stale. There's not a lot that separates anybody. But here, like, there's so much separation. There's so much that if you're not a good climber, you can make it up on the descent. Or if you're, have good technical skills, you just rock it through the gravel.
So how did it unfold for you? Was it a matter of just selection, or did you sort of have a game plan?
I was with the front group, and then I flew into a bush.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, the bush was great. But then when I got back on, maybe 35, 40 guys came together in a group, and then we rode pretty chill until the really big gravel climb. It was like and then it blew apart there, but I was able to like bridge to another group of like say 30, and then I was with them, and then that kept just getting dwindled. So I did 7 hours and 14 minutes is what the Wahoo said. I finished strong. I felt great, but man, knowing the course is like I think a huge advantage, and then I would say that a gravel bike is probably the like I'm full road. There's nothing about this that should go off road.
So caliper brakes.
Yeah, I have no disc brakes, no knobbies, like 28s, I guess, but still, like the setup for next year will definitely change, but just like you just feel so epic out there, dude. You feel so like, if I finish this, I'm great. Like, it doesn't matter what time you finish. Like, dude, it's so hard.
So you're starting to do more and more of these type of events. How does this one stack up to maybe your hardest road race you've ever done, or some of the bigger events you've done?
Well, I mean, the caliber of rider here is insane. It's like all of the fast guys are here. So, like, undoubtedly, this is the hardest race I've ever done, for sure. I'm doing Dirty Kansas in a couple weeks. So then I'll kind of have that to compare, but I can't imagine anything being harder than this. You know?
It's as hard as you make it sometimes.
I guess, but even, dude, just finishing, just getting around.
All right, well, Tyler Pierce, vegan cyclist, thanks so much for coming out. Are you going to be back next year to improve upon your 7.5 hours?
I mean, as soon as I crossed the finish line, I wanted to frisbee my bike into the trash can and never see a pebble again. But shortly after, I'm feeling better about it.
All right, thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
That was Vegan Cyclist in his first attempt at BWR. He came in at a very, very respectable 40th place with a time of 7 hours and 14 minutes and 15 seconds. We look forward to hearing from him in the future. On the podium, we hear some final and wise words from winner Peter Stetina, who is extremely gracious in victory, not to mention got to be handed the check by talk about the podium girl controversy. We had Eric Zabel as our podium ambassador for the BWR. It doesn't get much better than that when you have Eric Zabel handing out the checks. Here is Peter Stetina closing out the 2019 BWR.
You know, the whole event is unique. It was this was like I said before, the top of the list for Trek to send me to a gravel event. And you know, you can tell from the messaging and the website early on that it instills a unique vibe more than any other event that I've seen so far. So it was an honor to be here and, to shred the gravel and just, I literally just closed my eyes on some of those rocky sections, just held straight and prayed. And it was, yeah, it's the same as you guys, man. It was a wild ride.
So what we heard was there was a group of about 15 that came into Sandy Bandy, long single track mostly section, and about 6 came out. Obviously you were one of those 6. Was that a point in the race where you just decided, I'm just going to crack this thing wide open and see who can stay with me?
No, I was actually on the back foot. We ripped Sandy Bandy, and I was throttling there with a few guys, but coming into the mule section right after, and then the water crossing and all that, I actually had really bad cramps and I thought my day was done, so I started slamming all the water, gels, electrolytes I could. Luckily, I came good just in time for the final, but I was on the back foot the last 2 hours.
So did one of your domestiques roll back to the team car and grab a few bottles and bring it up and take care of you? Is that how that worked today or no?
I was raising my hand and looking for team cars, and I tried to push my shoulder for the radio and it wasn't there.
Nothing there. Damn it. Maybe in a couple years we'll be at that level. If we can round that up, we'll be in good shape. Yeah. Obviously, Tour of California, big on your mind. You're a USA kid, big race, biggest race here in the U.S. What can we expect to see out of you and Team Trek Segafredo coming up at the Tour of California?
You know, Trek is an American bikes company, and so this is, along with the Tour de France, it's a highlight of Trek Segafredo's year. I'll let the team announce the roster. I'm not allowed to, but you're going to see some hitters on the squad there. But I'm honored to be part of it, and Mount Baldy's going to be the show. So I hope all you local guys come up to Baldy on Friday.
We'll be out there. I'm sure that a lot of these people in this crowd taking cowbells up with them to Mount Baldy. My friend, it's been an honor to have you here, and we're so grateful. Your style, your riding capabilities certainly honor this event. It's wonderful to have you here. We couldn't be more thankful than to have a champion like our friend Peter Stetina here, cycling royalty here in the U.S.
You know, and I just want to say one last thing. You know, it's a new venture for me this year, hitting some of these gravel events. You can see that this is kind of the new hotness in the U.S. cycling scene. And for me, it was just about a fun adventure and a fresh reset so I can go back to the World Tour with a clean head. So, you know, I'm not here racing for all the prize money. So we're going to be donating, my wife and I, a portion of the prize money back to Susie and the San Diego Mountain Biking Alliance. We got to keep these trails that we're ripping today in good condition. So thanks for having me out.
That is super pro of you and a very, very nice gesture. That tells you much of a pro he is. Mr. Peter Stetna, your 2019 Canyon Belgian Waffle Ride champion.
And that is our show. That is our premiere of season 3. We are so stoked to bring it to you. If you did BWR, please let us know about your experience as well. We would love to hear from you. Share it with us. Brian at Veloworthy.com, as well as all the socials. Instagram is Veloworthy. Facebook is now Veloworthy. Everything's changed to Veloworthy. So let us know. And if you've never done the race before, let us know if you're going to do it. If this has gotten you just a taste of what the experience is like, it is totally worth coming out here. Yes, I'm biased because it's in SoCal. I know there's other great gravel races out there, but BWR is very much a not only a local event, but it's now hitting epic proportions. So until next time, we look forward to hearing from you and bringing you some fantastic content, some fantastic episodes. But until next time, this is Brian Coe saying, stay Veloworthy.